Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Softr webinar. Today, my guest is Jan Meinecke from 9X agency. Jan will present us with building a partner portal with Softr and SmartSuite. I'm Jakub Tutaj, and I'm senior product manager here at Softr. Hopefully, you will have a good time watching what Jan prepared for us today. Before we start, please feel free to say hello on chat. Tell us where are you from, or whether you are familiar with Software and SmartSuite, or maybe you know both the tools or none of them. I will share the poll with you right now. You can take the poll if you'd like, and I welcome you to chats where you can ask questions. We will start shortly, like just in a good afternoon from UK. Hello, and hello to you from Poland. Hi, Brandon. We'll start in a minute, I think. Let's wait for some more people to join and we can get started. Hello, hello. Okay, Europe is strong here today.
Exactly. I might already try testing out the screen sharing just to make sure that's working. All right, we're good. Cool.
Hola, Venezuela. Hola, Arnoldo. All right, great to see you guys. Yeah, I think, Jan, we can slowly start.
Perfect. Anyway, we'll have a bit of an intro to start with, so it makes sense. So yeah, from my side, hi everyone. Great to have you all here. A quick little intro about us 9X. So what do? We help startups scale their businesses, their business functions, and automate their operations with no-code, low-code, APIs, and AI. So we're based in Berlin, and we've trained more than 500 business operators from tech companies on how they can leverage no-code at work in their day-to-day work. And before we get into the building of the demo, I just want to set the scene for you all, and I want you to imagine a fictional SaaS company. So I want you to meet Cloudflow. Cloudflow was founded in 2022 in Dublin. They have 37 employees and growing fast. And what does Cloudflow do? Cloudflow is developing a cutting-edge cloud integration platform that allows their users to seamlessly connect their various cloud applications and services in an easy-to-use user interface. And now I want to introduce you to one of the main employees at Cloudflow, Dwight. So Dwight's a member of the partner management team at Cloudflow. And one of his main responsibilities is connecting enterprise clients with Cloudflow partners when they require technical support. And Dwight actually leverages SmartSuite to manage his work. And this includes onboarding and managing Cloudflow's partners, as well as I mentioned, handling the requests from enterprise clients that are looking for technical support. So let's take a quick look at his setup, and this will be the moment where I can introduce you to SmartSuite. So for anyone who is maybe new and hasn't seen SmartSuite before, SmartSuite, apart from being difficult to say, it's also a workflow management tool that allows you to plan, track, and manage any process. So it's a fully customizable solution. And what basically Dwight has set up here is he's got 3 tables where he manages his process. First of all, a partners table where he's listed all the different Cloudflow partners. Some you can see are in the onboarding phase. He gets them to fill out his profile, and when they've passed the accreditation, updates them to verified. And as well, he has a partner contacts table. So for each of the partner agencies that he's working with, there's sometimes maybe more than one person working for that partner. And most importantly, as I mentioned, he has a process for when enterprise clients need to reach out and request technical support. So he's created a SmartSuite form here, and this form is only shared with enterprise clients. And whenever they need support, they can basically fill in their details here, send a message. And basically what that means for Dwight is new requests are coming in. And for instance, we can see here someone wants some support in connecting payment gateways for real-time transactions. So what Dwight's process looks like, he would go through and pick a partner, and basically then he's got his SmartSuite set up that it's automatically giving him the contact details of that partner, and he's now basically going and connecting the client with the partner. Now, this is a process that worked, let's say, okay for Dwight for the first year, but now that more and more requests are coming in, he's finding that he's basically wasting most of his time just with manual work, connecting with partners with clients. And so what we want to do in our webinar today is we want to build basically the version 1 of Cloudflow's partner portal and help Dwight out by leveraging Softr on top of SmartSuite. So for our version 1, we basically want to achieve 3 key functionalities. First of all, we want to allow users, so that's going to be the Cloudflow clients, to find listed partners. Then we want to allow those users to submit requests directly to the partner. So we want to try and avoid Dwight's manual work of needing to basically pass on messages between the two. And lastly, we want to allow partners to receive those requests in the portal. So now, without any further ado, I think it's time to build. And before we get started, I think we want to just take a bit of a closer look at Softr, and I'll pass back over to you, Jakub, and you can tell us a bit about Softr.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. So just as Jan mentioned, like SmartSuite can be your great database and workspace for all your workflows. In the beginning, with larger scale, you might want to consider making something very, very native and very custom to your needs and build a specific client, or in this case, partner portal. Think about Softr as a front end to your applications and your databases or spreadsheets. So you can actually customize and allow different kinds of users to use application in the way they want, that looks like you want, with the permissions you give them, and you have full control over it. It's very simple to use. Main concepts of how to build with Softr are like you are putting pages, and on pages you put different blocks and you put logic onto it, and then permissions. So it's very simple in concepts, and Jan will show you shortly how it works.
Exactly. Cool. Then let's get underway. So first of all, as I mentioned, the first functionality we want to achieve is allowing users to find listed partners. So I'm going to go over into Softr, close down this one, and we've got our Softr app already set up. Now, one thing, we've already basically set a base here just so that the webinar can maybe run a bit smoother, and we can basically move through the different points quite quickly so that you can really see the full functionality of what Softr has to offer, but I will walk you through. So first of all, what we have here is, Jakub mentioned, Softr, you have different pages that you can create. And so for our very simple version 1 partner portal, we want to start with the homepage here, where we've just got a list of our different partners. And the way this works is when we drop different blocks here into Softr, there's obviously a few different block types, and 2 very important ones that I want to highlight here is list and list details. So when you see a list, and that's actually the block that we have here, a list is going to always show you multiple records. So when we are in SmartSuite here, and if we have a list of our partners, it's going to show you a list of all of these. Another block, then list details, is always a single record. So a single row in SmartSuite, and that's a very important definition. So the way we've basically set this up here is whenever we are interacting with one of these dynamic blocks, you basically have to connect it to a source. So I've connected it to my SmartSuite solution and to my partners table. And here we see now the different partners. And when I look at actually the live website, there's already one thing that I want to improve here. And as you can see, some of our partners are missing some information. So we do have some partners without logos. And if I go over to my SmartSuite base, I'll see that's because their status is not verified yet. So the first update I want to make to this list to make sure that we're only showing verified partners, I'm going to go down into the conditional filters here. And this way I can basically filter out only those partners in my SmartSuite base that I want to see. So first of all, I'm going to select the field in SmartSuite, which is status. And I'm going to say only when the status is, and I can enter a value here, is verified. And now when I add this, on first look, it looks like nothing has actually changed. But if I publish this here, and then I can go back and refresh this page. Now, fingers crossed, we can just see how quick this works. And there we go. We now only have all our verified partners there. So that's this conditional logic, conditional filters, very important concept of Softr and how you can really get the most out of your data. One extra little, let's say I've got a bit of OCD with design, and I really don't like the way here that some of the descriptions of some of our partners are a lot longer than others. And also it means these blocks are very big. So we want to actually be able to compress that a little bit and show more partners on one screen. And some in Softr, this is not actually an option that we can have. So when we go to the content, I can show you here how I've basically mapped the different fields to show in my list. So I have the description, and I don't have any option to like make the text shorter. But this is the real power of having control both of Softr when you design the front end, but also SmartSuite, your data in the back end. So what I want to do in SmartSuite to achieve this, I'm going to create a new field next to my description, and I want this to be a formula field. And I'm going to call this one description display. And basically by default, SmartSuite formulas are very like set up for simple arithmetic. But what we can actually do is toggle this advanced editor setup and get into some more in-depth formulas. And this is going to be very similar if anyone's, let's say, an Excel or a spreadsheet fan. These formulas are very similar to formulas or functions that you would write in Excel. And I've actually got one prepared. Just looks like I need to copy it. All right, so what this formula does that I've just pasted in is checking how long the description field is, so how many characters. And if it's less than 100 characters, I just want to take the description as it is. And otherwise, I only want to take the first 97 characters and add these 3 dots, so truncate the text. So let me add this field and see how that looks like. Okay, cool. So we've got our text there. Now, if I go back into Softr, and whenever you add a new field in your, let's say, your base, so your data source, in this case, SmartSuite, we just need to go back here and click this little refresh button so that Softr can actually identify those new fields in SmartSuite that we've just created. If I now go down into content, I can update, not style, I can update the field mapping here. So here in the content, this is the field in my SmartSuite base, and I'm going to map it to this new description display field. And now you can see that we've got a nice compact view of our partners. I'll publish it one more time so we can check out the live Softr app. And let me refresh this. And now you can see just how powerful it is that you have the access of those Softr formulas. And this comes in handy in like many different use cases. So obviously, if you want to potentially like show different time formats, all that can be handled inside SmartSuite with formulas. And then you can show them on the front end in Softr. So this is already pretty good that we've got the first part of our, let's say, partner portal set up for Dwight. And we've successfully been able to list all our verified partners. Jakub, is there any questions in the chat?
Let's pause for a second. There are no questions just yet, so I'm encouraging everyone to shoot any questions you might have, and we can continue.
All righty, so that's step 1 done. Let's move on to step 2, allowing users to submit requests directly to these partners. And before that, I do that, I just need to explain a little bit of the logic inside Softr, and again, focusing on that list and list details block. So I've got another page here called partner detail. And this is a page that when a user clicks from the list and selects a certain partner, they're going to land on here and see more information about that partner. And the way this works is I need to have a list detail block. So just like before we have a list block, now I'm using a list detail block. And the source of this is again the same source as the list. And what that allows Softr to identify, it means that when I'm on my homepage and in this list, I can say what action should happen when someone wants to click on this view button. And that means they're going to open the detail page. And then I can select only the detail page that's there. So that's a very sort of unique thing about Softr is when you're having a list and a list detail, which is going to the same source, Softr will automatically detect that and mean that when someone clicks on here, they will go to that specific record. So let's see it in action. For instance, if we want to check out our 9x profile, I can click here and the profile is loaded. And you can see here, there's a little record ID in the URL. Just take note of that. We're going to touch on that a bit later on.
Just to reiterate, sorry to interrupt, just reiterate, if you think about website builders, typically you'd have to create each page for each of the partners. And here, through this connection between linked pages and linked records, you can just have one page that does this all. So it's just about the logic behind it set up in Softr.
Exactly right. Like if I check out a different different partner here, you can see their details as well. It's really cool. And as Jakub mentioned, in Softr, there's only one page here, the partner detail page. So this is actually going to be the page where we're going to add a form for users to submit a request. So now here we go with some live building. I'm going to drop in a form, and it's going to be the customizable form. And now we have our block added in, and we can basically manipulate the content and the design of this form a little bit. So first of all, let me remove this description, and I'm just going to update the title to contact your Cloudflow partner. Perfect. And what we need to do whenever we have a form, you have to decide where do you want to send the information. So where are you going to send the data when someone fills one of these forms out? And in most cases, when you're building, it's one often use case is sending it back to the data source. So the data source in our case is SmartSuite. And now we just have to connect it back to the same partner management solution that we've got set up for Dwight. And this time it's going to be going to the requests table, because this is going to be the form where, as a user, I'm looking through the different partners. I find the partner that I want to seek help from. I click on their profile, and then I can fill this form out and contact that partner directly. Now we have a whole bunch of pre-built fields. What I tend to do, I don't know if this is common amongst all Softr users, but I just like deleting all the basic fields and starting from scratch. So now I'm going to add a new field, and you can see the different types of fields that we can add. So first of all, it's going to be a text field, because what I want to basically recreate is that form that we had before, and to fill out this partner, have a new row coming in here. So we always ask who is requesting it. So what's the name of the visitor, what their email is, so the partner can contact them, and then what do they need help with. So first of all, I'll go back into here. And the first one is going to be mapped to the requested by field. But for the contact, like for the visitor seeing this, we don't want them to see requested by. We just want them to see name. And I can add a placeholder here, like enter your name. And this is a required field. I'm going to add now a couple more. Next one is going to be an email field. And I can map that to the requested by email. And again, this is going to be email, and enter your email. And lastly, we want a long text field where the visitor can share a longer message about their request to the partner. And here I'm just going to label it the same as message, and then let our partner know what you need help with. And again, this is going to be required. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let me give this one a test drive. So I'm going to publish this again. Cool, that's published. And I'm going to refresh now my page. And let's see here we have our form very live. That's how quick it goes. So let me submit a request. I'm going to say Michael Scott, michael@scott.com. And I need help automating my CRM. Cool. So let's submit the inquiry. And that's gone green. We can also edit here that a certain message gets displayed after they've submitted. But most importantly, let's check now in SmartSuite whether this request has come in. So you can see here now the request immediately is in our SmartSuite base, in our data source. But one thing that we need to sort of set up to improve this a lot, because as we mentioned, we want to make sure that these users can submit requests directly to partners. And what is basically missing now is a couple of fields that we'd like to set up. Whenever someone submits a request, we want that by default to have the status new. And we also want to link it to the partner, whichever page they're on. So what we can do is we're going to go back here, and it looks like Jakub's just pushed some live updates to Softr. So I need to reload this. You're working hard on the side there, Jakub.
Sorry for that.
Cool. Let me then go here. And what we can do is add some more fields to this, but this time it's going to be hidden fields, because we don't want to, for instance, allow the person to submitting the form saying, do you want the status of this request to be new, accepted, or rejected? This should just be something that happens in the background. So I'm going to select a hidden field. You can see no new field has appeared here. And I'm going to map it to the status, first of all. And the value, I'm going to enter a custom value here, which is just new. So I'll add that one. And then next to all, this is where it gets like a little bit more complicated, but it's really a key feature and makes it so powerful, the way it's done in Softr. I'm going to add another hidden field. And this time I'm going to map it to my link to partner. So if you remember Dwight's process, whenever a request comes in, he was manually linking it to a partner. And now we want that link to happen automatically. And this is probably a good time to speak about linked records. So this is a very key feature of SmartSuite that allows you to, in one table, make a link to a record in another table. So if I click on this one here and just check the field settings, this is a linked record and it's linking to the partner. And you have some options saying, should you allow that to link to more than one? In our case, we don't want that. And what it then allows you to do is actually look up. So that's how this works, for instance, here. Look up other information from this table. And what's actually happening under the hood, so you might see like, okay, the names are being displayed here, but what's actually happening under the hood, every record in SmartSuite has a record ID. And that was the one that I pointed out in the URL before. And what we've actually set up in the partners table is that we have hidden here, and I just need to unhide it, a partner record ID. And the way we basically access this was with a formula where we just asked it, this is a unique feature of SmartSuite that you can actually populate the record ID. And by having this now made available on the partner table, what we can actually do back in Softr, I'm going to link to partner instead of just putting in a value because I don't actually know this needs to be dynamic. I can actually take a value from the current record. And by default, the current record will be whatever record is displayed here in the list detail. So when I go on the current record, since we know we're on a partner page, I get access to all the fields from the partner table. And the one we want to add in here is partner record ID. So let's give that one a go and let's publish this. And let's see if what I did worked. I'm going to go back and maybe we can submit ourselves a request.
Maybe Jim Halpert this time.
Exactly. Very good. Halpert, and this is going to be Jim at dundermifflin.com. And Jim, of course, because he's a bit lazy, he wants to automate his outbound sales process. And so let's submit the inquiry. Perfect, all green. Let's go back and check in SmartSuite. And now if I go to my requests, you can see here, perfect, just like that, Jim's request is here. The status is new and it's automatically linked to 9X. So I better be very quick after this call and reach out to him. And that's just the power of using these linked records and these hidden fields, a really cool feature in Softr. Any questions from the chat there? Because that's pretty much us ticked off for the second part of our mission.
Not yet, but if you have any, please shoot again. I'm encouraging you to ask questions. Like, this is the time. We are ahead of just one more segment, and we are here to answer your questions. So yeah, this is time for you as well.
Perfect. Cool. Then let's hit the final part, which is now allowing partners. Oh, I see something coming up in the chat.
Yeah. Is there a way a user can submit the same request to multiple partners via a drop-down or something? So currently at the moment with a single form, you cannot select multiple records the information should be spread out to. But I imagine with some use of automations, you could achieve that. But yeah, we will have to take this on our on the table and think a little bit about this use case more. But also, can you share a use case where you would do that? I imagine you'd like to send like immediately, like use the same form or reuse the same form and not worry about, like just select a couple of partners and then send to all, right? Like a kind of a batch operation. So currently at Softr, we don't support batch operations or selecting multiple records and doing and performing actions on them, but this is like a good use case. Yeah.
All right, well, let's keep on moving on, I would say, for now the final part of allowing partners to receive these requests. All right, perfect. And what I've basically got set up in Softr, first of all, I just want to walk you through how users work in Softr. So if I click on my users down here, and you can see here, I've already connected this to the table in my SmartSuite solution. So to my partner contacts table, which means that every, let's say if I go back to SmartSuite, every one of my partner agencies contact people can now log in and have access to the solution. And what's important is that whenever you have these tables, one necessary field is always an email address so that they can log in. And here, what I've already got set up in on my base, if I go here on my Softr app, sorry, I have a partner login. So this is where they could log in. I've got it right now set up that I can basically enter an email, my email address, and as long as that email exists in my user table or in my partner contact in SmartSuite, then I'm going to get emailed a code that I can sign in with. Another very cool feature here is the concept of a magic link. So this is going to allow, and this is actually synced through to my SmartSuite base. So I'm going to copy my magic link here and just open it up. And now authentication is basically taken care of, and I can go to my partner profile page. Now going back to pages, just so I can explain the setup. So we've got the profile set up here. And one important thing that we've done is basically in the settings of this page, I can control the visibility. And this should only be seen by logged in users, because on our, let's say our partner profile page, we are basically allowing users to edit their profiles. And this is something that right now is basically set up incorrectly on purpose. I'll talk about that in a second. But having this set up here as only visible to logged on users will ensure that anyone who basically maybe finds this URL path, so /profile, won't be able to access the page. So if we look at what we've basically done on this page, again, all we've put here is a list detail. So there's a list detail block. And again, I've had to map it to the partners table. And what you can see right now when I test this out in live, and if I refresh, I get this little warning here because it says right now, hey, I'm displaying random data and that I should basically make a fix here to my Softr app. The reason is I'm obviously logged in on my profile. I'm connected to the 9X partner. I should not see another partner because I should not be able to, for instance, edit the record of one of my competitors. That would not be a good setup. So again, what we need to do here is go log into the conditional filters to fix this. So if I go back to Softr, I'm going to, on my list detail block on the source, again, conditional filters. And the way we achieve this will once again be using this partner record ID. So on the partner contacts, I also have as a lookup field, I have the partner record ID because I know every contact is connected to one partner. So me, I'm connected to 9X. And this is the record ID of the 9X partner. If I go to the partner here, 9X, you'll see this is basically matching the same record ID. So what we can do in our filters is we can say whenever, and here it's obviously looking at a filter on the partner, whenever the record ID of the partner is exactly the logged in user. So rather than putting the value in again, I'm going to make this dynamic and I'm going to access some information about the logged in user. And what's cool here is because our logged in user, the user table in Softr is connected to that partner contacts table in SmartSuite, I can again find their partner record ID. And I'm going to publish this. And let's see now if I log in, I should be landing on, instead of a random one, I should be landing on the 9X profile. So let me refresh this. And perfect. There we go. We can see the 9X profile is there and it allows me to edit my correct record so that I wouldn't basically, and I can do it again, clicking on partner profile, I would not be able to access any other profile where I can edit the details.
Just to chip in maybe, what Jan did here is actually super advanced profile management. Like by default, you can use a simple user profile block that would work automatically with the user session. Like here, Jan already made an advanced version of it where you can edit any kind of user information or partner information on the spot and have specific display of the information. So what you're seeing here is, like, I would say level 2 or 3 already of using Softr.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for this use case as well.
No worries. That's why it's already pre-built. Now we're going to go back to level 1, I guess. So now what I want to make sure is that, so when I've logged in on my partner profile, I want to have a new section underneath here where I can see the requests that have been sent specifically to 9X. So if I go down, I'm going to add a new block, and we've already shown you the list view. So I want to show you another one just to sort of expose you to more blocks here. And this is going to be a table. So here I'm going to just drop in a table. And again, a table is a great way of showing more than one record from our data source. So here I'm going to select SmartSuite and then my partner management solution, or should I say Dwight's partner management solution. And I'm going to show the requests. Now, again, we'll be touching on conditional filters in a second, but let's first clean up the content a little bit. So I'm going to click here on content. Now I can control what is basically shown here in the table. First of all, I do want to show a title and subtitle so that the user knows what is in the section. And I can say your Cloudflow client requests, and that should be good. I don't need a subtitle. For now, we want to keep this simple. I don't want to have any filters, or I don't want a search bar, so I can toggle that off. I purely want to show all the necessary fields that, like, let's say me as a partner, I need to see from the requests. So again, this is just my force of habit. Just going to delete the default fields here. And now I can add in the data that basically I want. And first of all, we have to always stipulate what field type it is. So first one, I'm just going to select text, and then the content here, I can choose all the different fields from my request table in SmartSuite. So maybe first column, it might be good that it's a request date. And again, we can give that the same name. So just say request date. Then again, we don't want text. We want to know, okay, who submitted the request. So this is going to be the requested by field. And then say requested, that we can just call it the same name. Then we want to show the users their email. And here it's going to be the requested by email. And or maybe I should change this one to text so we display the email. There we go. And this is going to be the contact email. And of course, very important, we need a rich text, a longer text field to display the message that's being shown in the request. And here we can just say request message. And maybe also useful to know is what's the status. And for this, we can use a tag. And this is going to be the status. Now, I guess, Jakub, this is probably something that will be also improved for SmartSuite connection, right? Like for some other sources, the tag here can actually match the color of the tag. Whenever you're using a, let's say, a single select, we can stipulate different colors. I guess that's something that will probably be on the roadmap for SmartSuite as well.
Yeah, exactly. We'd like to have parity there.
Cool. So right now, we're just going to keep it like this. And so if I publish this now, what's already cool, we can see now our list of requests. So this is a great combination that you have on one page, a list detail showing just information about one record, but then you can list out several items from another table. So let's go and have a look and see what we've created here. So if I refresh my page. So first of all, here's my profile and then my requests. Now, already something quite alarming that I can actually click through quite a lot. It seems like what I've actually shown here is every single request that any user has ever submitted, which is obviously not ideal because we only want to show the requests specifically for my partner. So if I go on the request table, there's only a few, not everyone is connected to 9X. There's only a few that are, and these specifically are the ones that we want to show. So again, where do we need to go? As usual, always back to the source and editing these conditional filters. And we're again going to use that record ID from our partner to do this. So in our case here, we have if on our requests table, the partner record ID is, and here we actually have two options. We could again say it's from the logged in user, or we could say from the current record, because we know that that's already been set. For me, for consistency, Jakub, I don't know if there's any preference. I'm going to do it again from the logged in user.
Sometimes I like to do it from the current record, but I don't. It's a preference.
It's a preference thing. Exactly. So now let's see if that has improved things. I'm going to publish this. And let's now go over here and refresh my page. And again, so partner profile shows. And now this is looking a lot better that we only have, let's say, these 4 requests that have been connected to 9x. Now, a few things I want to clean up. There's already like a default button, this add record here. It doesn't really make sense that a partner themselves should add a request to themselves. And also I want to change the order that the request date, the newest, is going to be on top. So we can go back here into Softr. First of all, on the actions, this is where I can remove this button. So I can just delete it here. And on the source, I can basically stipulate a sorting. First of all, I could also increase how many items are being shown, but I want to sort by the request date, Z to A. So newest being first. And that looks pretty good. And another little touch I will also do is making sure that rejected items are no longer shown on the list. So I can say where the status is not rejected. All right, let's publish. So you can really see with just this quick iteration of making some changes, publishing, checking how it looks like on live, it's a really great way to actually build an application, no code, and make very quick iterations. So now I've seen perfect. The newest one is on top. That looks pretty good. And I think we can actually take this a step further, because obviously now this partner has received a new request. I have the email address of Jim. I can send him a message. But if it works out, I want to be able to change this to accepted, or if it doesn't, I want to be able to change this to rejected. So what we can do now is going back to where I just, on the actions tab, before we had an action on the whole section to say add a record. But what's really, really powerful, we can actually create an action for every single item in our table. So this is here in the item button. And one very nice feature is this one-click update. So I'm going to click the one-click update. And on the style settings here, I'm just going to position this button on the far right-hand side. And this one is going to be the accept button. And here you can even basically make it into a certain color. So I could say for accept, maybe I want this to be, let's say, a nice green, because that's a positive. Perfect. And what do I want this one-click update to do? So when I click on this button, I want the status. And again, this is only showing you fields from the source here, from the request. I want the status, and I want this to be now accepted. Perfect. And we can now see what's already interesting is I've got this accept button, and it's actually being shown even when the status is already accepted. And this is where another really cool feature comes in, that you have this on each of these buttons. I have its own conditional visibility. So I can go in here and I could say, only show this action if the status, and in this case, is new. So only when the status is new should this accept button be there. Right now, we can't see it. There's some changes you make. You really need to check the live version. So let's see how that goes. And if I now update my profile, you can see here now this action is only available on the record where the status is new, and here there's nothing else. Before we actually go ahead and click this, what I want to do here is add one more action. And so here, and maybe even I can just duplicate this one so it's quick. And this one is going to be called reject. And the way these basically actions are set up is the first one is primarily shown, and then you basically have a sub menu to show more. And here, this is going to be in the status, instead of accepted, it's going to be rejected. And I can add this. Perfect. And that looks pretty good. So let's publish. And let me go ahead and refresh. So I can go down here. Here I can see, okay, Jim, could I accept him or reject? I can hit this one to accept. And let's see, this has been updated. And you can see just like that, doesn't need the page, needs to reload. That's changed to accepted. So yeah, really, really cool. I guess this was sort of a lot that we could do in these 40 minutes, but hopefully that just gave you a taste of just how quick it is to build with these two tools.
So if you haven't followed the chat because you were so focused, like Eva had the exact question about updating the status and whether this is possible, and you actually went ahead and did all what is possible with editing the fields. So really remarkable showcase. So thanks, Jan, for that.
No worries.
Yes.
Maybe just one quick thing before I throw back to you, Jakob, a bit of a shameless plug for us at 9X. So we have recently, and when I say we, my co-founder Alex has done an amazing job recording a free course all on no-code operations. It's a 3-hour course, so it's very quick and basically allows anyone to discover the tactics, tools, and use cases harnessed by top operators to supercharge their operations. So very simple website, go9x.com. You can check it out. There is a banner to our free course. So if anyone's interested to discover more tools like Softr, SmartSuite, and what they can bring to business teams, go and check it out.
Yeah, and also just to reiterate, thank you, Jan, again. Like what you saw here was both basic and advanced use cases, but you can take it even further, and you can decide like what kind of a portals you'd like to build or internal tools, and it's all about thinking in flows and pages you'd like to show to specific users, so you really can tailor the experiences for your audiences. So it's not only about partner portals or client portals, it's beyond that. Like if you have some need to transform database into something tangible and easy to use, like Softr and these data sources like SmartSuite are perfect for it. So just think of the possibilities, just as Jan started this webinar, I think. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully the video after the webinar will send out shortly automatically. If that's not the case, I will make sure that you receive the video links. So thank you, everyone. I don't see any new questions coming in. Thank you, Jan,
Thanks for having me.
For showing brilliant presentation and demo. Thank you again. And yeah, thank you, everyone. See you soon.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.